Okay, thanks, Bob. I've done this clinic a number of times now, and I'm always humbled by the people that are here, and to tell you the truth, half nervous a little bit before you do it because of the respect you have for the people here and the football knowledge they have, and the things that I'm going to talk about are things that we do. All right, I'm not going to talk about things I don't know, and some of the things we do may not be the way you do them. But that's okay. We're going to talk about things we do. And as I've done in the past, I don't like to talk about a lot of things. You know, I'd rather kind of focus on something small and explore it in depth. All right, and today I thought I'd change the topic. And the topic today would be how to play offensive tackle. And kind of give you all kind of pointers, little tidbits. I like tidbits, you know, little coaching points, mental pictures that you can throw at people. And the little coaching points that we have that we've developed along the way hopefully help you out with your play at offensive tackle. Now we have a guest here today, Stacy Andrews. Would you stand up, please, Stacy? I don't want to embarrass you here. But Stacy, we drafted Stacy in the 4th round, and Stacy is going to learn how to play offensive tackle Cincinnati Bengal way. And he's a terrific guy, so he's here today taking notes and learning from all these great speakers, and has a tremendous future ahead of him. He was an All-American track guy at Mississippi, and he's only played 2 years of football. But to his credit and the coach's credit there, for playing 2 years, he played very, very well down at Mississippi, and we're hoping just to continue that development. So take good notes today, Stacy, and it's good to see you. All right? Okay, here we go. These two guys up here, okay, these two guys on the screen, the first one is Willie Anderson. Willie made his first Pro Bowl this year. He's been the alternate for about 4 years in a row, and he probably should have made it several years going, but the Pro Bowl is funny. If you don't win, you don't go. It's hard to go. And we won a little bit this year, just a little, and Willie was able to go. That's Willie. This next guy here, because we're going to watch these two guys for the whole hour and a half. This next guy is Levi Jones. Levi Jones went to Arizona State. Where's Dan Cazzetto? All right. Where's Dan? Are you here yet, Dan? There you are. Okay, Dan talked him into, when he was at Arizona State, talked him into, and those guys talked him into going from defensive line to offensive line, and lo and behold, they made him a first-round draft pick, and right now he's in his 3rd year, and he's going to be one of the better left tackles this year, I would think. He's really started to come on last year, and he's going to be good, and you'll see things in here that they do well. All right, this is PowerPoint, all right? We got the new coach, Coach Marvin Lewis, all right, and he's into all this stuff, and he does a terrific job, and Christ, when I came, he said, well, you're going to have to do all your drawings on the computer, you're going to have to do all the PowerPoint. Holy Christ, you know, there's no way I can do that, but somehow I learned how to do it. If I learned how to do it, then if you're ever confronted with a head coach who puts that on you, then you're going to be able to do it too, all right? And but anyways, I just wanted today to show you a different way to present the stuff, you know, how to mix it all up, but it's all basically the same stuff, right? We're going to start how to play tackle. First of all, where do you line up? Generally, I used to spend a lot of time as a coach. We were on the ball, we were off the ball, we were in a semi-different techniques, different plays, and I spent a lot of time on that stuff almost to the point where it became overkill for me a little bit. So I kind of went back a couple years ago, and I said, we're going to line up basically in the same spot every time, all right? And we're going to line up with our vertical spacing so that it's consistent and try to eliminate as much as we can. The reason, because they said they were going to emphasize the tackles lining up too deep, all right? And I was worried about that, and we really emphasized it this year, and lo and behold, after 16 games, they didn't flag us with being too deep at the tackles. You know, usually they'll get you a few times a year, but we were able to do that. So the guards, we put the guard's toes on the center's heels, all right? Guard's toes on the center's heels, all right? We put the tackle's toe of his inside foot on the ball joint of the guard's foot, all right? So he just drops his inside foot just a little bit back, and that's kind of their consistent spacing. Now, I mentioned all that to show you something. Here's a coaching point, all right? The tackle here in the 2-point, all right? Notice how he's bent over like that. Why is he bent over like that? Why is he not straight up and down, like erect, automatically upright like you'd like him to be? All right? And this is what we teach them. We have the tackles bend over for the reason so that they can get their feet back as far as they can. All right? So we kind of cheat a little bit, all right? Because the helmet has to intersect the belt line of the center. So what we do is we get the feet way back, as far as we can get the feet, and then we just kind of lean over and touch our head on the tip of the belt line. All right? Rather than getting up, that's different in a two-point. I said what our normal alignment is, but when we're on third down and we have to pass block from a two-point stance, we get as deep as we can. And rather than setting your spacing on the guard's feet in relation to that, we get the tackle as deep as we can get them. All right? And in order to get them as deep as we can, we cheat. We kind of hunch over so that we can get our helmet on the belt, but then when we kick, we can get upright. But what it's really done, rather than setting on the feet, it gets you back that far. And that's a whole kick and a slide, all right, which is a significant difference. All right? Okay, so you can see right here, we're kind of hunched over at both tackles. We're right there on the belt line, and we're as deep as we can legally get, all right, to help the tackle on the wide rush, all right? That's the point of that one. Okay, now the tackle, setting with your hands. Anyone who's heard me speak before knows in the last couple of years this has kind of been one of my mantras, right? The two mantras that I have right now is where to set your hands in pass protection. I have three of them right now, right? And it's kind of an evolution of football. That when I get guys now from college football, I think three of the weaknesses that they have. Number one, all right, how they set their hands, all right? How they set their hands. The second thing is they've done such a great job of teaching hand blocking. Way back in 1985, I made a tape that, in fact, a lot of guys in here still tell me that I sold a tape called Use Your Hands. I sold 2,000 copies of that tape, right when they changed the rules of going from enabling you to block with your hands. I made this tape, right? And it was pretty big. And anyways, I kind of got carried away in it. I kind of used hands all the time. So you'd get guys from high school who didn't know how to block with their hands, right? So you'd have to teach them that, right? Then when I got in pro football, you know, some of the guys were catching up a little bit. It's gone the other way. Right now where pro football is everybody knows how to block with their hands. They're doing such a great job in high school. They're doing such a great job in college. They're doing such a great job all the way up. They know how to block with their hands. What they don't know how to do is block with their shoulders. All right? They don't know how to block with flippers. They don't know how to do the shoulder block, which is amazing because anyone my age, 45 or older, that when you were playing, that's all you knew. That's all you knew, the shoulder block, all right? Unfortunately, anyone younger than that maybe never even did a shoulder block before. So what started out back when they changed the rule almost 20 years ago to hand blocking is now you have to teach them how to shoulder block. I'm sure Howard Mudd, I can say with about 100% certainty that you'll mention that at least once in your talk about blocking with the shoulder, with the flipper, all those kind of things. So I spend more time teaching with the shoulder because the bottom line is this. There are certain techniques are best with a shoulder. There's certain techniques that are best with a flipper. There's certain techniques that are better with two-hand punch and grab. Some are better with a one-hand stab, a one-hand brace, blah, 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 blah. So you have to tailor those techniques, and I think we have to all do a better job of continuing to give the guy all the tools to use those. All right, the low hands, that's one of my mantras, all right? We do such a great job in coaching of setting and getting your hands up right away. Getting your hands up right away. And this is the position I'm talking about. The hands up right away, all right? In pro football, that doesn't happen, all right? When I first came in the league 13 years ago, I saw a football card of Gary Zimmerman, all right? And Gary Zimmerman was a great left tackle for the Denver Broncos, all right, and Minnesota Vikings. And he was setting from his two-point, he kicked, and he was like this, all right? And this was a still right here, if you can see the picture. And I came in the league, and I probably had a little too much confidence, all right? And I saw that picture, and I said, God damn, pro football, he don't even set with his hands up. What the, look at that. He don't even set with his hands up. What the fuck's it? He was right. I was wrong, all right? They're great tackles, and you watch them all, whether it's Jonathan Ogden, Willie Anderson, Levi Jones, whoever they are, all the great NFL tackles, when they set for a wide rush, they don't kick and throw their hands up right away. They don't do it. Doesn't happen, all right? We'll get different guys who work out, different guys come in from college, and they'll kind of pass set on a guy, and they'll do drills, and they'll kick, and right away their hands go up, and they look like that, all right? That doesn't happen. The great players, because the problem is, obviously you can cover your area better with your hands down a little bit, but your hands, let me show you where the tackle puts his hands. Generally, we take the outside hand if I'm a left tackle, and this is a ward arm. This is a ward arm. It protects my outside shoulder when I'm doing a kick slide technique, right? This is a ward arm, and I take the hand, and I set it up near my shoulders, right? But I don't set them high. I set them low. This hand, all right, is going to be the power hand in case you get an inside move, whatever. And this hand here, I hold down like that. So when I kick and slide, it looks like that. It looks just like Levi's picture right there. All right, where he's starting to come out, his hands are initially down. All right, the guards we set, in fact, our centers and guards, when they set, a lot of times they set with their hands down here, low, because everything we want to do is come up and underneath with the punch. Up and underneath with the punch, not up where the guy can get under you or control your arms in any way. All right, so the fundamentals of the punch and grab, which I like to teach, in the pass protection, the fundamentals of the punch and grab are similar to the fundamentals of the drive block. So that when you set up, you have your hands low, and when you go to strike on the chest plate, the thumbs are up, and you can strike up into the chest. So we got the low hands, right? It also prevents the knockdowns, this, that, the other thing. The other thing with the hands that we see is we mention over and over and over to our guys, thumbs up. And the reason for thumbs up is simple. Coach, could I use you here? All right? Coach, put your arms straight out, hands down. All right? And I want you to prevent me from pushing your hands down. All right? Just kind of, okay. All right, here we go. Right there. I'm going to, all right. And what happens, the muscles you use, the physiology that you use to prevent the push down is your shoulders if your arms are rotated this way. But when the thumbs are up, turn the thumbs up, right? There's a feeling of strength in the lats. Strength in the lats right here, where when you push down, you should feel in pass protection where everything is tucked and powerful in the lats. So go ahead and put your arms on. I'm going to do the same thing. You see what it's stronger, all right? Thank you. It's stronger. When the thumbs are up, the thumbs are stronger, all right? And when the punch goes out, a lot of punching goes out. See, a lot of punching goes out with a lot of guys. When the punching goes out, they knock your hand down. We see so much knockdowns. It's all hand stuff. It's moves. It's counters. It's this. It's that. The down, right? All the punches we make are with the thumbs up. The thumbs up in a rotation position like this, and it's from a piston of the elbow acceleration right up underneath from the lats. And when the guy goes to knock your hands down, if there's that piston action through the lats, then you're stronger for the knockdown. So every punch we make, whether it's run or pass, thumbs are up, elbows are down, elbows are in. All right? That's the reason. Okay, so I kind of coach low hands, all right? Now, we talk about the line. The line to me, all right, the line to me, I've said before that when I die, and I go to heaven, and I get to meet the Maker, and you're able to ask him different questions. And when it gets to my football questions, I'll ask him these, right? I'll ask him, number one, what is the fucking line everyone sets for in pass protection? All right? What is that line? I don't know. Where is the line? So we're going to talk about that. One of the other things I'm going to talk to him about is how do you block a twist on a three-step drop, right? That's another issue that I don't know that answer for, and it's kind of confusing. The third one that I'd always said is when does the tackle turn on the pass protection, all right? I spent most of my coaching life agonizing over that. When does he turn on the pass protection, all right? I think I figured that one out. Right, and the last few years, I think it's worked pretty good. So we'll talk about that one. The first one, the line, all right? I'm going to define here what I understand as lines being. because I think people talk about the line, and you've got two different lines going on, right? The line that I'm going to first talk about is the line between the quarterback and the defensive end, all right? That's the first line. And basically, I'm going to show you 4 pass protection techniques the tackle does. The first one is a kick slide. And this is one we use whenever we're on the Gilligan, blah, blah, blah. I'll talk about all that, all right? Right here. And you intersect that line with your body by setting on that line right there so that he has to run around the quarterback. And we're going to talk about that getting in this spot. And the spot is probably going to be a buzzword today that we're going to talk a lot about. The other one is this line, where you go straight back. I call this kick slide, where you slide the inside foot straight ahead on a 45 degree. This one is straight back, where the inside foot goes straight back. All right? Those are 2 different lines. We're going to talk about when we're going to use a kick slide, when we're going to use a kick back. All right? We're also going to talk about the jump. I'm not going to talk long about the jump, although I haven't talked to Howard. I can say with certainty, once again, he'll address that issue as well, because that's... are you going to talk about the jump, Howard? No? Okay, well, then I'll talk about it a little bit more, all right? That's Howard's thing, and it's a tremendous tool. Okay, the kick slide, all right? This is the first set that I teach, all right? And it's a 45-degree set, basically. You adjust it slightly off the speed of the rusher. All right, you adjust it slightly off the width of the rusher. All right, but as a general rule, the kick goes 45 degrees, the slide goes 45 degrees. Now, the way that we kick, all right, we want to take short kicks. We don't want to take a big extendo kick with the outside foot. All right, we want to take just a little bit. The foot kicks and it sticks the heel in the ground. The instep strikes in the ground, and it goes at a 45-degree angle, and you have to unlock the hips, all right? Unlocking the hips. A lot of guys, I do this drill with our guys. Stacy hasn't had it yet, but he will, all right? I teach them how to unlock their hips. And how do they know how to unlock their hips? Most guys, when they kick, most young guys open their hips. They swing their hips when they kick. I've over-exaggerated there. Rather than unlocking their hips. When I kick, my hips are still pointed straight ahead. Now, how do you teach that? The best way I found to teach is I'll have a guy hold a bag, and I learned this when I was taking a martial arts class with my little 6-year-old daughter, all right? It was kind of a fun thing, all right? But they were teaching us how to back kick, right? And a back kick, you go like that, all right? And when you back kick, you actually unlock your hips like that. And it's that same motion, like if you're going to throw the shot put. It's that unlocking of the hips. All right, so I have them do that. If they don't know how to do it, I make them kick that bag about 100 times and the other one about 100 times. And once they can do that, then for whatever reason, they feel where that hinges in their hips. All right, and they're able to kick it and unlock it. Because if you don't do that, you have to kick so that your center lowers, so that you go down and you bend. All right, now the slide, the inside foot, it slides 45 degrees. Coaching point, if your left foot moves this far, your right foot moves this far. Run or pass. If your right foot moves this far, your left foot moves this far. Run or pass, everything you do. So if I'm going to kick this far with my left foot, I'm going to slide this far with my right foot. So that everything I do, I maintain the same relative position in my feet as I'm blocking. All right? Okay, the lag point. That's the approach. Generally, when I get to this lag point, this spot as I call it, this lag point, it's generally 2 kick slides, all right, is the maximum. And this is, it would be 2 for sure. If it was 5-step, it may even be a extra kick if it was like a 7-step drop, all right? Okay, which we do very little of, all right, the lag point. When we get to this spot here, here's the approach. When we get to this spot, I'm going to show you all the reads that you use when you get to the spot. That's the second part. What do you do? Well, it depends what he does. It depends what you see. It's going to depend on his width, and it's going to depend on what target he gives you. All right, the third thing is the finish. And after we kick back, we don't run them around. We run them back and around. back and around to extend the pocket, and I'll show you why. Because the theory of the kick slide is that you create two bubbles in the rusher. All right? The first bubble that you create is your alignment on the spot. And you force the guy that instead of running his straight line right to the quarterback, he's got to go around. And in order to go around, he creates a bubble. Your spot has caused that. That's the most important thing that you do. If there's one thing I teach offensive tackles, and we do this drill every day before practice and training camp, we do a spot drill. All right? And I'm going to get to the spot drill. But the most important thing the tackles have to know, and this is big, and it takes them a while to learn, that they are not blocking that guy. They are blocking this spot. Because I have this spot between the defender and the quarterback. Same thing with the guards, similar. A lot of times guards get carried away when guys move in pass protection because they have more width than they think. The worst drill probably for offensive guards from this standpoint, it has other merits of course, is one-on-one pass protection. Because guards get in the habit in one-on-one pass protection blocking a guy from here all the way to over there, which doesn't happen. An offensive guard in pass protection, in fact, if he runs way over there and gets beaten one-on-one, I don't say any. The only thing I say is this: no problem, center be there. Because I don't want them to get in the habit of thinking they block way over there because they get too floaty, they get too soft. A guard blocks this area right here as far as his fingers can reach. That's his area. And that's what he blocks, right? The tackle, the same thing. The tackle holds a point. He holds a spot, right? I don't block this guy. I block this spot. And I know by sitting on that spot that this guy doesn't have a free run at the quarterback. And when I get to that spot, I'm going to have balance. I'm going to stop at the spot. I'm not going to continue to retreat from the spot. I'm going to get to my spot and hold my spot and do what is accorded. All right? The second bubble. When I get to my spot, hey, John, my thing died here. Oh, there we go. Okay. When I get to my spot here, this right here is something that a term I invented, about 10 years ago that I've used at the clinic before, and it's kind of, I hear people use it, and it's kind of inspiring some, right? That when I get to this spot here, I walk into the guy, right? I don't know how else to say it. That when I get here, and the guy starts to come off my shoulders, instead of bailing on the guy, instead of lunging at the guy, I walk into the guy. Meaning if he comes around my edge, I open, I walk into him. And I take the guy in pass protection like this, back and away. Not just turning, not just bailing, back and away. Take him over there is where we tell him to take him. All right, so that's walking into the guy and not leaning on it, blah, blah, blah. All right, the lag point reads. All right, the lag point reads are what you do when you get to that spot. All right, now the first one is if a guy is in range and he gives you a chest read. So I'm at the lag point and a guy's sitting right here. Come here, Mo. Would you just stand right there? And I'm not going to do anything other than this. And he's in range and he's right at me. Now come even closer. I learned this in junior high, all right, which was wrong. If you can get chest, you take chest, all right? This is wrong, all right? But what I'm saying here, if he gives you chest, if you get a chest read, you take chest, all right? You take chest. 2 thumbs up, punch and grab, control the chest. You don't always punch and separate in pass protection. You don't always punch and get off. If a guy comes right into you, you punch him and you grab him and you hunker down on him and you sit on him and you hold him. All right? And if the guy starts to move, you let go a little bit and you continue to slide your feet. So if a guy gives you a chest read right here, I take chest, all right? And I take chest with my thumbs up, my hands inside, right up underneath on the armpits, all right? Okay, so here it is. This guy here is going to rush, all right? And the film here, they put it on the PowerPoint. It doesn't look perfect. It's the best technology you can do right now, all right? But you'll have to watch it. I'm going to run all these pictures that I have. And you got to kind of catch it as it's going, all right? Because you can't run it back and forth, is my point. All right? So right here, I got this here. This guy's going to rush. He's going to kick to cover him. Now, how much do you cover on the guy? You want to get your outside shoulder covering the inside shoulder of the defensive end. That's how much you want to get of him. You don't want the tip of your shoulder on the tip of his shoulder. That's too close. That's too far away. You know what I'm saying? If I ever felt that he was so wide that I couldn't get my shoulder on his shoulder, I'd use a different technique, which we'll talk about. But right here on the kick slide, I'm going to get so that my outside shoulder covers his inside shoulder. Or the left foot goes down the middle. It's a little wider than that, actually. But you're going to try to cover the guy as much as you can. And the guy's going to come in and give you a chest, and Levi's going to punch and grab chest and control him, right? So let's look at it here. All right, here he comes, chest, punch, control. That's it. If he gives you chest, take chest. He got to the junction point, the lag point, all right? He lagged there, he sat right there, and you force the guy to move, all right? Now, everything that defenders do are going to try to get you off of your lag point, and I'll talk about a drill we do for that. Okay, now, if he's out of range, the last one is he gives you a chest read, meaning he shows you chest, all right, but he's out of range. You can't grab him. He's too far away, all right? If he gives you chest, but he's too far away, we punch and off. Punch and off. And whenever the guy is off of you, all the punching we do, rather than a punch and grab. Punch and off means extension of the arms and get your body away from him. When you punch in pass protection, you separate your body from the defender. When you run block, you maintain proximity by pushing on the guy in run blocking. Pass protection punching is expelling your body away from the rusher. All right? So if I kick and the guy's far away, come on here again, Mo. You're not going to get a lot of notes today, all right? Here we go. All right, so if this guy's rushing right here and he gives me a chest read, but he's way away, or I can't grab him, so just kind of come straight upfield, all right? Here we go. I'm just going to punch and off. Punch and off. The reason I can punch it off is I know that I still have my spot, my position. And I just have to knock him off his course so I can punch it off him. The one thing one of the coaches last night was asking me, how do you handle, in fact, I thought about this goes with this read, all right? How do you handle the guy who comes upfield like this, and then they do this kind of move, you know, where they do the flying grab and come around, thing around like that? Well, the way you stop that move is you have a guy off of you, and he has a chest read. And what do you do on the chest read? You punch and off. And that when you punch forward with the hands, the opposite reaction of your body expels from your hands. All right, so that when he comes up the field, come do that kind of, that thing I just showed you, all right? So, yeah, just like that, real quick swim around the thing, all right? Here we go. Set, hey, right there, I'm just off. I punch and off because he's far from me. He's not close to me. Thanks, Mo, all right? And that's a read we get right there, all right? You don't get a lot of that read. In fact, that's one picture I didn't find on the film, all right? Okay, shoulder read, all right? I get right here, I get to the spot. The hardest thing tackles have to get, no one wants to sit at the spot as a tackle. Tackles want to keep, by and large, they want to keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. Because they're scared to death that the guy is going to burst on them. He hits a rip on him, and the guard's got his hand in here. We take this arm and then this hand on the hip, and we kind of twist them like that. And if they're real good at it, you can kind of snap his back a little bit, all right? You just kind of twist them, and you kind of drop them like that. That's a contorting type of maneuver there. All right, I guess I got to do this one more time. Okay, there's the club. One more time. Okay. All right. Now, if he's out of range, once again, if he gives you a shoulder read, Mo, if he gives you a shoulder read and he's out of range. What's out of range? Farther than you can reach, all right? If he's outside of the extension in your arms. If he's out of range, then we punch shoulder. If he gives us a shoulder read and he's out of range, then we put both hands together, all right, and we punch the tip of the shoulder pad right here. And when he's out of range, He's already too wide for me. I'm at my spot, and he can't get to the quarterback where he is right now because I've intersected his line. So right now, all I have to do is get the second bubble. He already got the first bubble. So he comes upfield, give me the shoulder read, and I just keep going, Mo. I just, boom, two-hand punch right on the shoulder. And that upfield movement with a two-hand punch right on the shoulder gets him to deflect off his rush path, and he continues out and around. All right? I think I got one of these. Yeah, I do. Here's Levi. Levi loves this technique. He's good. He sees more of it at left tackle than Willie does at right tackle with the type of rushers that you have. All right? He's going to come up the field. He's going to be out of range. Now, know your spot and keep working a little bit to close that spot down. But don't chase a guy. All right? A lot of pass blockers, when they get to their spot and the guy starts to go, they go and chase a guy, and the guy can then double move him. Know that when you get to the spot and he's far away from you, you should think the only thing I can do at this point is screw it up. All right? That's all you can do. All right? The other thing, tackles, a lot of times tackles will kick back, and the guy's still in front of them, and they'll keep kicking for whatever reason because they got happy feet. A lot of times I'll see college guys, they just, honest to God, here's how they set on film. That's how they set, and that's pretty common. And generally, scouts make the mistake of evaluating that guy as having great feet, all right? If you got a guy who's a potential pro prospect and you want him to get drafted pretty good because some scout will say he's got great feet, just have him on pass plays. Just do this, all right? And God, because I've seen it now for 13 years. I've seen those players, they all get graded way up here because they say he's got quick feet. My God, look at his feet. He's got quick feet. He don't got quick feet. He's just moving them, I mean, Willie Anderson, when he kicks, his feet hardly move. But let me tell you something. He gives up about 1 sack a year, all right? He doesn't have with his feet, all right, because it really serves no purpose, all right? It kind of gets you going and gets you all out of whack, blah, 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 all right? But he knows how to get to his spot, all right? So right there, when I set for the guy, I lost my spot. What was I thinking about? I do this, all right? Then when I'm kicking on the guy, okay, he's already away from me, all right? He can't get to the quarterback. If I get to my spot and he's far away out of range and I get a shoulder read, all right? Okay. Okay, yeah, this one was Levi, that's right. Okay, here we go. Okay, Levi. Long arms, boom, like that. All right, you want to see it again? Here we go. Shoulder read out of range. Punch, double punch hand, and off. Okay, spot drill. Don't like to talk about a lot of things, like to do some things right, all right? This spot that I get to, Christ, I got to do it every day. I have to do it every day in practice. It's that hard to teach, all right? But it's the essence of developing poise as an offensive tackle. All right, of developing confidence, of developing a guy who looks like he knows how to play. All right, because when I get to my spot here, the drill I do is this. Right, Mo, you be the tackle there. You be the right tackle. You set to your spot. I'm the coach. I rush him every day before practice when we're getting ready to go. That's his spot, and I'm standing over here. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to. I'm sorry, you're not at your spot yet. He's going to get to his spot. And this is what I'm going to tell him to do. That, God damn it, no matter what, with presence, with toughness, with determination, with focus, with everything you got, you get to your spot no matter what the guy does. All right? And that's hard. And I'm going to be the rusher, and I'm going to try to freeze him from getting to his spot. And that when he starts to go to the spot, start to go, Mo, all right? Like you're going to pass by. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to do this. All right? And I'm going to do all kinds of head fakes and shakes, and I'm going to, when he's setting to a spot, I'm going to step up and jump, all right? I'm going to say, I'm going to do all those kind of things and prevent him from getting to that spot. Because that's what defensive guys do. and the blocks are more defeated at this getting to that spot to begin with. So the defensive guys are always head faking, shaking, this and that and the other thing. You want to focus their eyes on a target. That's not the point here. The point is getting to that spot, maintaining poise, maintaining presence, and there's nothing I can do that can get them off the spot. And it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. In fact, when you leave, you may want to do the drill with a buddy of yours, all right? It's hard to set when the guy's moving around. But you got to know that if Mo's the tackle, and he knows the quarterback's back over there, and he knows his spot's right here, that, God damn it, this is my place right here, no matter what the guy does, all right? And I can't say that enough, all right? I've said it 5,000 times already, all right? But the point is, when he goes, let's do the drill, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to get you off your spot, all right? Here we go. Set. All right, I kind of froze just a little bit there. All right, keep going. Bring that. There it goes. All right, you keep. There we go. Put it down in there. It's safe in there. Christ, my wife don't even know what's down there anymore. All right, right there. All right, so right here, when he gets to that spot, I'm going to do everything I can to try to get him off the spot. Here we go. Set. Right there. All right, and right from there, that's all it is, all right? Sometimes if they're too floaty, I'm just going to bull right into them, all right? Okay, thanks. All right. That's the spot drill, all right? Now let's watch Levi in real football block the spot. He gets to his spot. No matter what the guy does, you're going to watch this rusher right here, all kinds of shit, all right? Don't worry about the shit. Don't freeze on it. Get to your spot. Excellent. Excellent. And then the guy got off him. All right, let's say, all right, bonus points here. He got to his spot. He got the guy to bubble. When the guy got off him, he gave him an out-of-range shoulder read. What did Levi do when he got the out-of-range shoulder read? Double hand punch, right? So let's see the whole thing. Here it is, the spot. The first bubble, the second bubble, the double hand punch read when he's out of range. All right? There it is. Punch and off. Don't punch and lean too much there. Lean just a little bit, but pretty good, really. All right? Okay, here we go. The Gilligan sets. I came to this clinic forever for 3 or 4 years. When Jim would talk about being on the Gilligan before I knew what a Gilligan was, all right? So I'll explain to the guys who don't know what a Gilligan is, all right? It's part of the secret handshake, you know? You go to the Wing T clinic, they give you the secret handshake. You come to the Cool clinic, you know what I mean? We got a little secret handshake, you know? We try to keep the head coaches out of here and the defensive guys out of here, you know? But the Gilligan, when you're on an island like Gilligan's Island, all right? That's what the Gilligan is. I'm going to talk about the Gilligan here, so it's a word. All right? The TE twist, that's a left guard and a left tackle. The guard does this, right? Here's my mantra number 2. Mantra number 2, please, I beg you, college coaches, I implore you, all right? Trust me on this one. I know this one to be true, all right? Probably some coach will come up and tell me it's wrong, all right? But as far as I look at it right now, to me, the way I look at football, it is as true as anything I know, all right? Guards. Don't set on the inside number of the 3 technique. Stop doing it. All right? Stop it. All right? Don't set. The guard set's different than a tackle. Just know it. Be flexible enough. Don't say, God damn it, we all set the same. Huh? Have a little bit of flexibility, all right? The guard, because of the relative position of the defender and the quarterback, sets in a different location than the tackle does. The guard can't set on the inside number. If the guard sets on the inside number, all kinds of things happen, all right? There was a coach here that I know from a big program. He's not here today. From a big program who a couple of years ago I was watching one of his players. And then he came down to visit with us, all right? And I was watching one of his guys getting ready for the draft. And I told him, he's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I said, would you quit having the guard set on the inside numbers? What do you mean? And I had saved the film. I put it in the film. And there it was, right there. Big game, biggest game of the year, gave up a sack on a guy setting on the inside number, right? I couldn't convince them. Sometimes your friends are hardest to convince, right? Like your wife, forget it, right? But right there, the next year, same thing happened, right? This time I cut the film out, I put it in the mail, and I put a nasty note. You know, I will quit being your friend if you continue to teach this, all right? Because what happens when the guy sets on the inside number of a guy, you can't stop a guy from grabbing you. I mean, as simple as it is, you set on my inside number as a guard, all right? I got you, period. And when I got you grabbed, I can do about whatever I want. And when I grab you, I can't stop you because your hand's got to go like this. And when I start, you're swinging around in a circle, all right? That's what happens. The other thing that happens is it is impossible to pass in a traditional fashion, pass a TE twist if you're setting on the inside number. All right? Because as I go out, you're going to naturally turn, and here comes the end. All right? The guard. We set nose to nose with the guard. This is about the only coaching point I'm giving you on the guard. All right? Because I know this is critical to make it all happen for what the tackle has to do. All right? The guard sets nose to nose on the 3 technique. All right? Nose to nose, straight ahead. So come grab my shoulder. All right? I'm in front of him. I got a chance. Even if he grabs it, I got a chance. I got a chance to prevent it also because I'm in front of him. Coach, what if he goes inside? You're setting so wide. My God, you got to teach this drill. If you're going to teach this technique, you got to teach this drill. And the drill is called this, feet before hands. All right? Meaning that when I set to cover a guy and he goes inside, go. The first thing guards do is they put their hands on him. It's the first thing they do. The second thing they do is when they go to punch him, they step up with a post. Go in. They post up. It has evolved. When we first started posting, the post was taught up, up, up to be powerful. All right, to hold the guy on the line of scrimmage. I don't see as much of that happening now. Maybe some people do it. I've gotten away from it. When the guy goes inside, I post sideways. Sideways. And the reason I post sideways is because when he goes inside, and if I were to go forward, whatever this distance is, would be disadvantaged than if I were to go here and intersect the guy at this spot. All right? So when I go feet before hands, all right here, go inside. Oh, I just come right back perfectly lateral, getting just a little bit of depth. All right, so that I can cover the guy and maintain relative position on him. All right, feet before hands. Right now, the guard on a TE. I don't bump the twists anymore. I do a technique that I termed a couple of years ago called the side shuck. All right, the side shuck is this: that when a guy TEs, we used to do where the guard would hold him, and the tackle would come down and bang the hiss out of him. All right, and then the E would come around, and then we get off. They come, believe me, if that 3 technique comes and just wants to grab the guard, and he's got your shoulders, forget it. I don't care, unless you're much, much stronger than he is. You can't get off that. He's just going to grab you, and the guy's going to come around. And then you're going to bitch to the head coach. You're going to say, tell the defensive guys, keep holding us on the dang twist. All right, well, goddamn. All right. They ain't going to call it. You have to know how to handle it. All right? And this is how you handle it. Here's the coaching point for the guard. I got it in here. All right? Maybe a great coaching point you can get today. If I'm a guard and I'm pass blocking, if the guy goes out, knock him out. That's the whole coaching point. If the guy goes out, knock him out. All right? So that when I set to the guy on a kickback and he goes out, I knock him out. Out and flat. He can only do 2 things if I'm the guard. I mean, you got to deductively figure it out. If the guy goes out, the only thing he can do is it can be a TE, all right, which you're in good shape because you projected the guy out into the tackle, which is what you want to do, or it can be a double outside rush, which rarely happens, right? But even if that happens, if he goes outside and you punch him, same thing, punch and off, and then you just regain your feet, you got him blocked. The thing the guard can't do is when the guy goes out is turn on the guy. Guard, when the guy goes out, keep your pads square and punch him out and flat. And that technique that we have, We call that a side shuck. All right, a side shuck. All right, come here again, Mo. All right, and the side shuck is this. Let's say, since I'm the left guard, when he goes out, all right, the outside hand, are you with me? The right guard on an outside rush, it could be the tackle on an inside rush, I'll get to that, the side shuck, is a brace with the outside hand. Start to come. Brace with the outside hand. And when he starts to go out, this hand is like underhand, like pitching a softball or something. It's an underhanded side shuck, this way. It's a brace and a side shuck. All right, that's how you project a guy off of you. So it looks like this. Just kind of rush up and then outside, most. Right there, side shuck. And you see what I did with a side shuck? I turned his shoulders. All right, and I turned them by bracing with the outside hand, the punch, and turned with the inside hand. And I kind of spin them around in a top, and I flatten them. And the whole reason is to launch that guy, as I call it, launch that guy flat across the offensive field. All right? So we're getting to the point here, how do you handle twists without bumping? It happens faster. It's a better way to do it. At least for me it's been. All right? The tackle on the kickback. All right? I used to go like this. Kick slide. All right? It's actually kick slide. And when the E go around, all right? I used to say, if you've got the looper, you're responsible for forcing a switch. Used to say it. All right? I don't say that anymore. I say that the guard, when I got the 3 technique, if the guard goes out, I knock him out and I look at the end. And if the end comes, I take the end. I mean, it's kind of common sense. All right? And I tell the tackle, all right, that when you kick slide, all right, when you see the end loop around, you're just going to back up and settle inside, and I call it ripping the sink off the wall. I don't know why I call it that, really. All right, but it just came to me when I was thinking about it. I mean, I've been calling it that for 10 years, all right? When the guy goes like that, I can just rip the sink off the wall, all right, and just pull him out. And that's how I handle a twist. So let's look at a picture here of a TE with 2 guys on the Gilligan, meaning it's not a slide. The center's not going that way, all right? Center's not going that way, and the guard and the tackle, the guard's going to set nose to nose, all right? Guard's going to set nose to nose. The tackle's going to do a kick slide. When he comes around, he's going to rip the sink off the wall, and the guard, when he goes out, he's going to knock him out with a side shuck. All right? Do you see how that guard's set? Let me give it to you again. All right? Watch how that guard sets. See nose to nose? He looks nose to me. All right? Let's watch the guard on the side shuck. See where the left hand is? Unfortunately, I got to show the whole thing. Watch where the left hand, watch where the right hand is. Right hand, left hand. Side shuck. When he side shucks him, did you notice he didn't turn his shoulders? He kept his shoulders square as he projected the guy. All right, watch the tackle on the kick slide. He kick slides, the guy freezes. He gets depth as his first reaction, and then he goes back and in, ripping the sink off the wall with the 3 technique. Oh, there we go. That's it. I got to hit that twice, I guess. That's all it is. You don't really see a force there. You just see a presence, a position. And everything we're going to do is we're going to know how to set with the guys. The tackle. Here's an important set. You know, how do you set? How do you this? You have to set in a spot relation. Here's the basic coaching point. The tackle always is slightly behind the guard. All right? And we do this, we freeze it, just half line, all right? Half line sets. Generally, we don't set by yourself. Generally, we always set with a guy next to him, all right? Because the tackle's depth in his set is going to depend on how wide the defensive tackle is. So if he's a 3 technique, he's going to set a little deeper, all right? If he's an inside shade, he's going to set a little bit tighter, all right? So he sets in relationship to that guy. Okay, side shuck rather than bumping. We do it because it's quicker. We do it because of the grabbing, to get off the grabs. And we do it because of the double and super games. We used to come down and smear the forces, right? We used to, force the switches as hard as we can. But then right when that happens and you're all off balance and killing the guy, then another guy comes around and you can't get him, all right? So here's a picture, all right? This is actually going to be a three-man game. The tackle's going to pinch, the end's going to pinch. The one technique here is going to twist all the way around. And I want you to look at, we'll just run this a couple times. I want you to look at the relative position that they keep. Nobody's running out of their area. Everyone is maintaining position with the guy next to him. All right? There's the game, blah, blah, blah. And that's really how it looks. All right, this is a double twist. But look, see, well, you can see it now because the ball's not staffed. But watch how their shoulders are square the whole time. That's a kick slide versus a double twist, all right, a three-man game. Okay, guard coaching point. I already said it, and I want to put it on here to make sure that I got it. When the tackle goes out, punch him out. All right? Don't turn on him. Punch him out. All right? Okay, and here's an example of what I'm saying. When the tackle goes out, punch him out. And this example here is you're going to see, if he goes out and you punch him out, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's the same read as the guy's out of range and he gives you a shoulder read. If the guy's out of range with a shoulder read, you double hand punch him, end off, reset, get ready to go. All right? There it is. Okay? It was a pretty good job by the guard there. Okay. The E.T. twist, all right? We already talked about it. It's going to be the same theories, all right? So I can go through this one fairly quickly. The E.T. twist. When the end goes inside, all right, the tackle, feet before hands, here's what happens. The tackle's set, the guy goes inside, and their body goes. Their body goes, and then they're short with the feet. They lean, they grab. Teach them to set, feet before hands. Set, feet before hands. Set, feet before hands, all right? So that they learn to cover that angle without getting their hands on them too quick. Because if they get their hands on them too quick and their feet are back, they end up just turning. All right? They can't keep their pads square so that they can pass the switch, all right? Pass the twist. Okay, so the tackle is going to use a side shuck with his posting the right hand, shucking with the left underneath, and the guard, when the guard, coaching point, when the defensive tackle doesn't rush, when there's some hesitation in his rush, get depth. He's not taking a play off. He's not loafing. All right? And if he is taking a play off, it don't matter anyways. He's not getting there. Don't do this. Don't set, and he doesn't come and say, great! Because as soon as a guy does that, and immature players do that, all right? Then when they set and the guy doesn't come and they kind of just gore him. Pick. All right? You're dead. So we do this. If we set and if he hasn't come, if he hasn't come, keep your position with the tackle. All right? So the whole thing, I kind of learned that when I first started coaching, when I was a graduate assistant from Roger French. At that time he was at Brigham Young, all right? And he was a terrific, terrific coach, all right? That I saw all these drills of the guy wouldn't come and the guards kept backing up. He would show them, right? Because the guy didn't come. Now the classic, as I call it, is the defensive tackle. That's the right tackle, that's the right guard. I'm a 3 technique. Is when a guy goes like this. I call that a classic ET. And when they come and they start doing that, you can guarantee it's an ET. So when a guy starts doing that, the classic move, I back up, and then we're able to get on the same level so that we can pass that. All right, here it is with an ET on the Gilligan. The center's going this way. ET, side shuck, back up. Rip the sink off the wall. Side shuck, get back. Keep your pads square. There we go. That's good. Now Levi had this. Now what did Levi do there? All right, Levi did something pretty good. He got out here, all right, and the guy penetrated like this, and he was so wide that he had to carry him first, all right? The side shuck, probably, I didn't mention this point, but it's a big point, that when a guy goes inside, you just can't side shuck him without carrying him slightly, all right? So when the guy goes inside, it's kind of that same thing of like throwing a shot put, like I said before, where there's a transition in your body to get him going. So I said here, he goes inside. I just kind of carry him and side shuck and then off. So it's just a little carry, launch, and off. All right? See it again here. All right, let's watch Steinbach. Rookie left guard, going to be a terrific player, really. Right here, when he starts to freeze rush, like he does, get back. That's a classic. The guy rushes his inside shoulder. Defensive tackles don't rush the inside shoulder half-ass. If they attack the inside shoulder, they attack it hard. All right, so if the guy attacks the inside shoulder half-ass, get back. All right. Okay, offsides. Here's a coaching point for you. How do you block a guy who's offsides? Never heard that at a clinic before. All right. How do you block a guy who's literally, illegally beat the count up the field offsides? We do a drill for this in training camp, believe it or not, all right? And they have to know, you can block a guy who's offsides, sometimes within reason. I mean, if he's there, you can't block him, all right? But if he's there, if he goes there, sometimes it's easier to block a guy who's offsides than not. This one, take this one off the film, because any head coach that I ever worked for would fire me if I said this, all right? Because sometimes pro tackles position, all right? Let's say the guy beats me off the count. Mo, come on up. You're beating me off the count here. I'm the left tackle. I'm looking in at the ball, all right? And he starts to go. Oh, my God, he beat me, all right? But if I'm sitting right there and he's already beat, he's only got one way to go. What I have to do is now adjust my angle. Instead of kick back, because what if I kick slide and he's there, I'll never get him, all right? So I have to have enough weight in my stance where I'm thinking kick slide, and he beats me off the count, where I have to immediately have to adjust my angle and block him at that spot over there, effectively jump him. All right? I have to go to the spot. All right? So let's just do the whole thing. I'm kick slide right now. I'm thinking kick slide, and he beats me off the count. Coach, give us a set, blue 88, set hut. All right? And you start to go like on the set. All right? Now, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking, go like that. That's what I was thinking. All right? But this is how I have to react if he does that.
Set. Blue 88. Set. Hut.
Because I've got him blocked, and I'd use a two-hand punch on his shoulder, and I just displace him off his angle. All right? Because you can block him. You can block a guy who's offsides. And a lot of times it's a freebie because he can only go one way. All right? So that's the point. I got film of it. All right, here we go. The right tackle adjusting your angle on a guy who jumps off sides. This guy's going to beat him off the count. Willie's going to be a little bit later. All right, in fact, Willie, a lot of times when a guy starts to beat him off the count, he kind of waits on him. And then he jumps him. Because he knows it's not a TE. All right, here we go. See? See it again. Guy's going to beat him off the count. No problem. You just jump your angle and you jump them. But I guarantee you, young, immature players, that if that were to happen, they would throw their head out there. They would lean out. They would do everything they could to get on that guy because they'd be scared to death because they don't know the most important thing to playing offensive tackle is relative position to the quarterback. It's not blocking the guy. It's blocking a spot. And the spot intersecting the rush angle. All right? Because if I'm right there and he blows like that, then I just intersect that spot and I go. Okay, silent snap. Coaching point. All right? A lot of silent snap. In our league, we have to do it every week. Some people have to even do it at home. All right? Virtually on the road all the time. All right, the guys in big college football. Or how about this? We played Baltimore for the division championship this year, and of all things, and we lost the game, all right? And of all things, our quarterback, John Kitna, who was having a terrific season, woke up with laryngitis, all right? If you ever tried to play on the road in a noisy place in a championship game with a quarterback who cannot talk, all right? It wasn't pretty, all right? What I'm saying here is that here's the point on the silent snap, and this is a coaching point. We do this drill, all right? We do this drill. The center looks through, comes up, whatever timing you got, snaps the ball, all right? Now, foot, hand, however you do it, that's not the point here. The point is this, that train the tackle, that when the ball is snapped, you focus the ball out of the corner of your eye, but when the ball is snapped, the first thing that moves is your kick. Most young players, that when the ball is snapped, they're looking at the ball, they see the ball snapped, now they look at the guy they're blocking, and they turn their shoulders and they're laid on the edge. All right? So I train them how to get to the spot without looking at your guy. Willie Anderson's done a terrific job of blocking Javon Curse, who's a great player. All right? And Willie has often told me, Javon Curse looks like, plays what I used to look like when I was about 18. You know, I mean, just big and studly and cut up. No. Javon Curse, my God, you know, he's a freak, right? If you're going to block a freak, a guy who's looks way better than you, blah, 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 don't even look at him, all right? Don't look at him. Go, oh, you know what I'm saying? That, hey, when you get out there and he's sitting right there, you're looking at the ball, and because I know rush angles and relative position, the ball snapped, and when the ball snapped, I kick. When the ball snapped, I kick. I got Richmond Webb later in his career, who had a couple of good years with us, right? And I had to teach Richmond, when he was a younger player, he got away with it. But Richmond, his whole career, that when the ball was snapped, he would look at the guy. And as he got older, when the guy would rush up the field and around the corner, he couldn't get there anymore. Couldn't get to his spot. So on the silent snap, when the ball is snapped, get your spot. The guy's going to be there. Where's he going to go? He can't go anywhere. He's got to come to you. And then make a move off that. All right? So that was the coaching point. Silent snap, kick. All right, here's a couple pictures. Both guys are doing it because we do this drill. We have a center and both tackles. We have a whole circuit that goes on before practice and training camp that takes about 10 minutes, and they hit all these weird situations. And we do this. This is one of the drills. The center snaps, and both tackles on the snap, they both kick with the outside foot. All right? Kick. You see it? Pretty good. Snap, kick. Willie stepped up a little bit on his kick, but the foot's moving. The head's not moving. Here's a foot fake. This is what you do. We did this against Neil Smith many years ago. We do it, and this is a great one-on-one pass pro thing. A lot of defensive tackles will look at your foot, all right? They'll look at your foot, and when your foot goes, they'll go, rather than the center. You know what I mean? A lot of defensive ends will do that, all right? So this is called the foot fake, all right? You just kind of come up in your stance and say, blue 88, blue 88, and then you just kind of turn your foot a little bit, you know, and I mean, sure as shit you'll get them to jump, you know, because they're looking at your foot. So you do just a little foot fake, and there's no umpire referee alive that sees you just turn your foot a little bit, all right, and they kind of go, especially when it's on two, all right? That's a foot fake. I like it. Common faults in the kick slide, pushing off with the inside foot, all right? Pushing off with the inside foot. Let me get up where more guys can see. If I got the inside foot and I'm pushing off to kick, rather than kicking. All right? The next one, swinging the outside knee, swinging it. No, reach the foot outside of the knee. Reach the foot and slide. All right? Don't wind up on the kick. Just kind of scoot it. Scoot the kick and slide the feet. Turning the inside foot. When we do a kick slide, the inside foot should be pointed absolutely straight ahead the whole time when I get to the junction point. And from there, then I make my reads. But as I'm getting to my spot, the inside foot is pointed straight ahead. Slightly inside, because everything we do is kind of duck-footed anyways. Rock and roll. Look at your guys. If they're having trouble getting set, when you're watching the one-on-one pass rush film, watch their inside foot. Put it in slow motion. Do they transfer the weight from their heels up to the toe, back to the middle of the foot to kick? I call that rocking and rolling off the inside foot. The inside foot should be flat on the ground with the weight pushing down on the insteps, and right from there it's an immediate, no wasted motion, kick and slide. What we do in pro football, and I kind of see my role, others may see it different, I see my role as a teacher in pro football is to be like a golf pro. And I am forever taking these great athletes and trying to clean up their swings. All right? And what I mean by cleaning up the swings, taking all the garbage, extraneous garbage out of their motion that they can. All right? So that when I'm doing that, as a good golf pro, I want to see if it is a complete motion, wasted motionless movement. All right? And that would be one way of doing it. Whenever you see any kind of gathering to get moving, take it out. Your stance should be such so that there is never a gather to move. A lot of times you'll see that by the backside linemen when they're pulling to cut off, all right, that they'll kind of get going forward before they can get going sideways, all right? That's a gathering that you have to try to eliminate. They should have their stance in such a way that if they're going this way, then it's immediately on the particular angle that you have to take. Okay? Not bracing. What does the kick do? The kick, the inside foot braces with the outside. It doesn't come down on the whole foot here. When I was in college football, I had heard all the time, and I knew better, but I always thought it was clinic fluff. Whole foot on the ground. Whole foot on the ground. And I kind of taught it a little bit, all right? But I know this now. Whole foot on the ground. I don't care what level it is, all right? Whole foot on the ground, so that when the foot goes down, the weight doesn't just naturally go out off the outside foot. So that when you brace the outside foot in the ground, it's a brace. You prevent the weight from transferring out. Because if the weight transfers out on a kick slide, obviously you're vulnerable to get beat inside. All right? And the same thing is true on posting. That when you post, you brace off the inside foot so that you're stable. All right? You're not soft and falling off, rolling off the outside of your shoe. Okay. Here's you go. If you got a young tackle, all right? Willie Anderson was a rookie, and he played against Bruce Smith, and he played him the whole game and held Bruce without, didn't hit the quarterback. Now, Bruce Smith's one of the greatest pass rushers who's ever played the game, and maybe we got lucky, maybe we didn't, I don't know, whatever. And Willie did a great job. And the only thing I'm going to say, whatever maybe little impact he had in his success, whatever little impact I might have had in his success that day, it was this. I went up to him during stretch, you know, and if you're a rookie and you're playing against Bruce Smith, you're about like this, right? If you're a coach and you're going against Bruce Smith, you're about like that, all right? And anyway, so you're about like that, and Willie's in stretch, and Willie is a very confident guy, and blah, 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 and I'm not saying that. But kind of the coaching point I said to Willie, I said, Willie, he's down there in stretch. I kneeled down to him. I said, Willie, guess what? Bruce Smith's not going to try to kill you. He's going to try to kill the quarterback, all right? Now, that's consoling. Willie told me years later, you know, after the game, whatever, that when he was a young player, that image really stuck with him, all right? That the defensive guy is going to try to kill the quarterback. So who cares? You know what I mean? You're not going to get hurt, all right? Whatever. So he's not going to try to kill you. Now, what does that mean? Because it's your job to keep the quarterback clean. But that mental image gives you poise, all right? That mental image gives you presence and patience, so that I know the only thing he's trying to do is get the quarterback, so I'm just going to get to my spot. And if I get to my spot, wherever that spot is, whether it's a jump, a kick slide, or a kick back to a jump, if I get to any of those spots, life's going to be good. And if I do my reads right, life's going to be good. Because the geometry of the rush angle is such that he can't get there. All right? The only way he's going to get you is if he can get you off of your spot. So we do the spot drill. All right? Where I do everything I can to try to get you off your spot. All right? Okay, chill pill. Just adjusting your angle. I know this. Know this about your technique. If you're teaching a kid a particular technique and he can't do it, all right, then he should do a different technique. All right? I don't kick slide all the time. If the guy's real wide on me, if I kick slide and the guy's super wide and I kick slide, I can't block him. It's the weakness of the technique. that if I kick slide and he's wide and he comes up the field, then my spot has to be way over there. And the geometry of a super wide rusher is that he can get to that spot before I can get to this spot. All right? So if the guy is, if you get down and the first thing that goes through your mind is, oh, I got to really go this time. If that's what goes through your mind as a blocker, go a different way. Don't go that way. Because everything you do should appear easy and fluid, all right, and easy to do. Don't tell them, oh, Christ, you really got to get on your horse this time. I mean, that's negative coaching, all right? That's telling a guy to do something which he can't do based on the geometry of the rushers, all right? Okay, the kick slide, all right? We got the kick sets, the kick slide. Next one is a kick back, all right? Kick back. When you kick back, where the inside foot goes straight back, not out at the 45. When you kick back, if the guy's super wide occasionally, although our guys usually like to jump that, if the guy's super wide, but that's one, once again, that here's my spot. If I take this spot here and this guy's super wide, he beats me. If I take the 45-degree set and he's super wide, I can't block him. I got to swing my tail if I got any chance, all right? So if he's super wide, if I kick back, I can intersect this line, or when I get to the jump, right? Here we go. I call this a Giants alignment. And when a guy lines up in a 4-eye on the tackle, and this is the whole point of this slide here, Giants alignment. And the reason we call it Giants is because this game was invented by the New York Giants with Leonard Marshall and, oh my God, what's his name? The greatest pass rusher, the Lawrence Taylor. All right, Lawrence Taylor, all right? The Leonard Marshall would get here in the 4-eye, all right? He would drive up the field, Warren Sapp in the 4-eye. You're all seeing it more, I know, because I see the college film. Guy gets up in the 4-eye, and he pushes. Not the nice, pretty jump out TE. The penetrate, push on the tackle. Drive. The end, you don't even have contain. I tell this to the, how about this? One of the first things, and I've told Stacy this already, one of the first things I tell the rookies when we get them, in pro football, there is no contain. There is no contain. Don't even think there's contain in the defense, all right? Because these guys don't care about contain. They know if they sack the quarterback 13 times this year, next year they make $5 million, all right? If they sack the quarterback 2 times this year, but maintain perfect contain, they make $600,000, all right? So there's a big reason to go kill the quarterback. So if a guy sees some, he takes it and he goes. And it's not as much like college football, all right? Like if you got an immobile quarterback, forget it. There's no contain. Marino, at the end of his career, the poor guys that had to block for him, who he was a terrific quarterback, but they knew he wasn't going to leave the pocket, all right, really didn't worry about contain as much, all right? They just kind of pushed it. Now, the scheme, if you ask a defensive guy, they would say, yes, there's always contain. You know, when they coach it, yes, there's always contain. But what I'm saying is you can't fall asleep that there's always a guy who's going to keep contain. If you see this guy rush out in college, if you see the 3 rush out, you think, sure, the guy's either going to twist or he's going to rush out. But he'll rush out, and sometimes he'll double move you inside, and you got 2 guys in the B gap with a clean shot to the quarterback. All right? It happens rarely, but it happens enough. It can happen enough so that it's at 10 times a year or whatever. All right? Okay, so here we go. Here's the Giants stunt. All right, now, when you get this wide 4-eye, and he's going to push on him, we use a kick back. What would happen if the tackle kick slides and the guy pushes on him? You're picked, sure are. That's right, Coach Bowman. This guy is picked, and you got a hell of a problem, all right? So you've got to stop the push. So the way you stop the push is you take the tackle and you kick back, straight back, and you punch the 4-eye technique, and you stay right there. And if this guy comes and tries to beat you around the corner, you turn and go. Simeon Rice is a problem in Tampa Bay, all right? Simeon Rice is a problem. He was a problem for a long time. One of the biggest reasons he was a problem is because that's Warren Sapp. And that's where he lines up. And you can't set out and block that guy like that and let that guy come and bounce off him and he'll kill the quarterback. All right? So all the NFL guys, they got to snuggle on this guy a little bit. All right? And when Warren Sapp comes, if you're smart, you'll slide to him because you get the extra guy, all right? But that doesn't always happen. But if you go back like this, you'll snuggle on the guy, all right? And here comes the TE, or here comes, you snuggle on him, and then Simeon Rice, shoom, has speed around the corner, all right? So what you have to do is you have to snuggle on the 4i and hang, and when he takes off, it's just like a guy beating you on offsides. He can only go one spot. So then you open, jump him, and take him right back on the angle you find him. So the tackle does a vertical stab to control the 4i, and the guard, coaching point for the guard, bang and get off. Don't bang and carry the penetration. Bang and get off, all right? Here's a Giants alignment here. And we say that, Giants, Giants. All right, Giants, Giants. Because the TE is the problem. All right? Giants, Giants. The Giants set is all of them, punch them in off, vertical set by the tackle. There it is. Giants. Punch and off, vertical set by the tackle. Okay, here it is over here. Giants, Giants, kick back. Guard, punch and off. Tackle. Well done. All right, notice that the tackle's not if the tackle did the kick slide, he'd get picked because of the alignment of the 4i. Kick back. Giants, Giants. Right foot straight. The tackle on the Giants, coaching point on the Giants, the tackle's inside foot, right foot, has to be well behind where the guard's kick would be. All right, so he's got to get back. Kick back. Okay, kick back. All right, we also use a kick back technique, the tackle kick back, when you're sifting. What does sifting mean? Let's say the back's stepping over here in a protection, the center's setting for this guy in a protection, and nobody has this guy. And you can't turn this blitzer loose in the A-gap, all right, because he'll hit the quarterback before the quarterback can throw hot over here, all right? So we sift when we're in a hot situation off this guy. So the tackle kicks back, and he reads these guys kind of like a TE. Now, I tell them this, tackles who sift, all right, and you really have to do it. If you're running like empty protections and you don't have sifts built in your scheme, they'll double A-gap blitz, and they'll kill you. You can't survive, right? You have to cover your A and B gaps to the one side and bring the other side in, all right? So that sifting situation happens if this guy's threatened. Now, how does the tackle sift? I tell them this, tackle, all right? If you got a sift, you kick back. But when you kick back, if you don't think that linebacker's come, you block the end, all right? You can't sift and keep your eyes, who do I got? No, I just do a kickback technique, end. All right, just like that. So when I get to the kickback, I go to the end. If the backer hasn't come by then, he's far enough away where the quarterback will have time to throw hot before he gets hit. All right? Okay, review when to kick back, when the guy's super wide. Kick back when it's a Giants alignment. Kick back when it's a sift. Kick back when you see anything that's weird. Guys running all around, and that happens because guys are so trained into, okay, my kick slide, here's my kick slide, here's my kick slide, all right? And they're moving around, here's my kick slide, and then pick, here comes another guy, all right? When anything's weird, kick back. And we even, on a kick back like that, we stick out the inside hand, all right? On the kick back when we get the weird situation stuff. We call it the one-arm brace, all right? Here we go. This is weird. These guys are walking all around, all right? They're coming. Who do I got? I don't know who we got. They do have rules, all right? But in this protection here, the left tackle is supposed to block the end, all right, in that protection, all right? But if the left tackle goes and blocks the end and 51 walks up on him and blows him and the end comes around, he's going to get picked. He's dead, all right? So when you get a potential picker on you, kick back. Let me say it again. If I'm the right tackle and I'm blocking this end and I'm thinking kick slide, but a backer walks up here where he can run into me and then this guy can come around, kick back. Because I've got to kick back and block it like a Giants. All right? I got to block it just like a Giants because it's the same problem. All right? Kick back. There we go. Terrific. Yep, 5 minutes. Okay. Kick back. Weird. Weird. Kick back. Well done there. Okay, here we go. The jump. When to jump. I used to jump. We jump probably 40% of the time. All right? We kick slide. Let me put it this way. All right? Based on the rules I'm going to give you, you're going to see that 40%, 50% of the time somebody's jumping. All right? And the rest of the time they're kick sliding or they're kick backing. All right? And then the last one we're going to get to is a kick slide or a kick back to a jump, which we do a lot too, all right? But these are all common sense things. I hope I'm not confusing the whole thing. I hope that I'm just saying that based on the relative position of the guy and knowing what you have to do, this is how you get there, all right? Okay, jump versus a super wide guy. The weakness of the kick slide is when he's wide, because when you take the 45 and he's so wide, you can't get there in time, all right? But what does it also tell you when it's super wide? The chances of a TE are minimal, all right? The other thing it tells you when he's super wide is the chances of an inside pinch are minimal. All right? So the point is you can jump the guy and you can set on the same line that you were before, but you take that angle sooner. All right? Okay, here's the super wide guy. Super wide. We're going to jump him. Instead of kick sliding, he'll beat you. We're going to set, kind of get to the lag already, let him come up the field, and intersect that angle and knock him off his rush path. All right? Super wide. That's a jump. What's a jump? This is a jump. The right tackle. That's a jump. The jump, what is a jump? A jump means that he doesn't have his shoulders square when he gets to the spot. Jump means he has his shoulders turned to the shoulder of the defender. All right? And what you do is you knock him off your rush lane. Now, there's coaching points to the jump. Please see Howard Mudd if you have any questions. He knows more than I do clearly about this technique. I think they do it virtually all the time. All right? We jump on a slide. All right? Jump problem, in my opinion, is a TE twist. All right? That if the tackle comes out to jump the end and you get any penetration from the tackle, then the end can come around and you have a hard time passing it because you've got your back to him. All right? I've had a hard time with jumping against TEs. I probably don't know it thoroughly enough, all right? But based on what I do, because of the TEs particularly, I try to use the kick slide, all right? So if we have a slide protection, center guard and tackle are working for the tackle, the end, and the backer. If it's a slide protection, when it's a slide, the tackle jumps. Always. When it's a slide, the tackle jumps. When you're on the side of the slide. And why is that? Because if you get a TE and we have a slide and we say stay, we start out early and we take the call away. Let's say it's a left. Let's say left is the name of your slide call. We'd go left stay, left stay. What does stay mean? It means if we get a TE, the guard stays on the T and the center takes the E. On a slide, we don't force a TE twist coming back. Now, the tackle can try to help, and it can kind of help a little bit later, but the whole thing works that if you get a TE, the guard stays on the T, and the center takes the E. You can go slide stay, particularly when the guy you're sliding to is outside of the slide. All right? Stay. All right? Left stay, if you call it. All right? So you're going to intersect the angle of the defensive end. When you get there, you chop the feet when you punch, and you punch and off. On the jump, I didn't invent the word, all right? I didn't invent the technique. There's very few things that I did, to tell you the truth. It's all learning off other people, all right? But I do this. When I teach the jump, I tell them that really, if you can get the picture of your mind out of jumping off a dive board out of your head, you'll understand the technique a little better. Because a lot of guys, when they jump, they'll literally lunge, all right? So on the jump is no more than intersecting the angle, and when I get to the spot, the guy's off me, I got an out of range shoulder read, all right? And then I get on him, I double punch, and I'm off, all right? With balance, all right? Not lunging into the guy on the jump, all right? Okay, here's the last one, kick slide to a jump. We do this, all right, when we're on the Gilligan, and this guy, if he's a power rusher or this or that, the other thing, this is a technique that Willie Anderson really does the most, all right, that he goes kick slide, or if something tells him to go kick back, based on the same things we've been over, and then you get to the leg, and when he comes up field and he's wide enough, like that, he'll just open and jump. All right, let me show you kick slide to a jump. Kick slide to a jump. He starts kick slide and gets into the jump. Kick slide, jump. Kick slide, jump. It's good. Against that big guy, right? He's not going anywhere. Just get on him. Kick back to a jump. Why do you get a kick back? Because look at this. You got a 5 and you got a guy out there. That's a weird deal. And you got a guy over there. This is a weird situation. So he's going to go kick back. This is weird. When it's weird, kick back. All right? It's weird. All right? It may be some kind of game like this, I would think. So he's going to set vertical for this guy to play this game there. All right? Kick back. Whoop, they didn't do it. Jump. Kick back, jump. Kick slide, jump. Kick back, jump. All right? Okay. Other tackle coaching points. Am I done? Tell me where I'm at. Okay. Other coaching points. The backside tackle. On an interception, the ball's thrown. All right? How to play tackle. That's what today is, right? If the ball's thrown, the left tackle, if the ball's thrown over there, your cover is this way. All right. The backside tackle on an interception, and I wish I would have put films on because we've actually made some of these. The backside tackle. The backside tackle is a contained guy on an interception. All right. So you turn and you contain. Every other guy goes to the ball. All right. Go to the ball. And the tackle here is a contained guy. All right. Okay. Square. If the tackle sets square, here's where you go. One of the hardest rushes there is when a guy's like that. Mike McCreary made a living for a long time in the NFL with this rush, which killed people. He would come and bolt right into the middle of the tackle, right into him. And he was powerful and low, and he could do it. All right. What happens is when the guy turns his shoulders, is the tackles naturally turn their shoulders. All right. You have to get to your spot to prevent the bull and keep your path absolutely square. So that when he comes with a bull, you've got power to deflect the rush. All right? Thumbs up, not over. I already talked about that. That's kind of if I ran out of time stuff. All right? Okay. Okay, we'll wrap up right now. Keep going. Okay, good. Good. Okay, here we go. Double teaming. All right? How to play tackle. All right? This works. All right? I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. I'm not saying it's the right way, but I'm saying this works. All right? And this is how we double team on the vertical double team. Let's say we're running a power, an ISO, whatever it is, we're double teaming to that linebacker. And this is what we tell them. Absolutely vertical. All right? And what does that mean? All right? The guard. If I'm going to take the 3 technique, I set off my inside foot and I drive straight ahead with my outside foot. And we teach this double team. We put the guy on a line, the defensive guy, all right, and we have the guard and tackle work without a defensive guy, all right? They step and they work this line straight ahead. The tackle steps and works this line straight ahead. All right, now, what happens here is when the guy moves is what screws up the double team, all right? When the 3 technique jumps out, he fights in, whatever. Because inevitably, if the guard steps and goes north, when the guy goes out, the natural reaction, take this out of your guards, the natural reaction when he goes out is to turn out to the guy, all right, to push him out. And when the tackle comes this way and that way, you've got shoulders together but butts apart. The point is on a double team, it's butts together. Butts together. Not necessarily the shoulders do go together, but don't think about the shoulders the whole time, that when I step and he goes out, keep your hips together with the tackle. Don't step way across your line and push him out this way. All right, now, that's the guard. The tackle on a double team. All right, I've always been confused by this guy in the double team because the timing of the thing, everything we hit off the second step is kind of normal, except this one block. Because if I were to hit him off my second step, I'd be punching with the wrong foot. All right, anyone who knows about way back, the crawler progression, etc., when I was a young guy coming up, the whole thing was to teach strike with the same foot and the same shoulder. All right? So what happens on this double team is you actually hit that guy on 3, and you go short 2 if you're the tackle. So you go 1, 2, 3, short 3, short 2, short 3, so that I hit the guy with my shoulder, and we want to hit the guy really at the same time. If you got the guard hitting him, then the tackle hitting him, you're all screwed up because you're going to get split. All right? You want to hit the guy at virtually as close to the same time as you can. Now, the alignment of the guy's going to have a little bit to do with that. All right? But generally, that's what you're looking for. All right? If he fights in, same thing. If he fights in, tackles, hip, shoulders straight ahead, work up. If he fights in, don't turn. Don't turn. Vertical on the double team, all right? We do the drill. Here's a good drill. If they want to think that you're really coaching, all right, you do this drill, all right? You take the guard, you take the tackle. Here's the line, all right? You have them both work hip to hip down the line, blah, 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 blah. Then you take a shield, all right, blocking bag, a flat one, a thin one that you need, all right? And you stand back here as a coach, and you go set, hit, and you slide it. Pat's seen this. Anyone who's worked my camp before knows I do this with the high school kids, right? That when they step together, you slide the shield in between the hips, all right? So the guard and tackler are both holding a shield on their hips, working down the line. And if they're hip to hip, they can hold the shield up. If they're not working hip to hip, the shield falls to the ground. All right? So it's a way of getting them to feel hip to hip location. All right? Same thing with the guard and the tackle here. This double team here, hip to hip, vertical. Left foot, right foot for the guard, vertical. All right, same thing here. Left foot, right foot, vertical. All right, now, this is a terrific job by the right guard. Notice, when he goes out, he's still fighting to keep his hips. See his hips? See, now the hips are still together? Did you see that? Watch how the hips are still together. Because the natural reaction here is that the shoulders will stay together, but the hips will pop apart. All right? Same thing here. Hip to hip, same deal. Keep the hips together. So if you can visualize that drill I told you about, you slide the shield right in between their hips, all right? And they hold that shield up as they're double teaming the guy vertical. That will get them to stay hip to hip together. Okay, you got to tell me where I'm at, Bob. Keep going. Okay, here we go. Can we turn this off, John? The next thing I got, all right, a tight end going to block that linebacker like that, all right? The line is working the regular one-back slow draw play for this backer, all right? Okay, that's the play. The front side guard, if he's in an outside alignment, we use a regular draw technique. What is a regular draw technique? It is a kick and a short slide, but still keep your shoulder on his shoulder. Don't get nose to nose, all right? Shoulder to shoulder. Let him have the illusion that he can beat you up the field, all right? Kick, slide on a regular draw technique. But what's different, I'm sure everyone kind of does it that way a little bit, but what's different is this guard's reads, all right? And the read is this, that when the tackle goes out, punch him out and find the end. All right? Stay with me now. A guard is draw techniquing a 3 technique. He rushes up the field. Most guards will say, great, I got him. All right? And here comes the end coming around. All right? I do it different. I say, guard, you set on the 3. If he goes out, punch him out, because you put the ball's going up in here, punch him out and find the end. And this is what find the end means. As long as the end is in your vision, stay here. If the end is past your vision, then take the tackle. It's not a TE. All right? All right, so when the T goes out, find the end. All right? The tackle. Kick back. Kick back. If the end doesn't rush, if he's going half speed, snuggle, and get ready to rip the sink off the wall. All right? T-E. All right? But the tackle always has to set in alignment to what this guy's going to do here. That's a T-E. All right? Front side draw versus an E-T. Pinch. Classic. All right? Tackle. Kick back, which is good because you haven't gone too wide for the pinch. All right? Kick back. Set your feet just slightly behind the guards. All right? Slightly. Kick back. He pinches. Same crap. He pinches, side shuck, launch. As flat as you can launch the guy down the line of scrimmage, in front of the guard. Sometimes if he goes inside, you just knock all the crap down in there. All right? But you launch the guy. Guard, when you set, if he freezes when he goes, double team the end. Let the looper twist around, ball goes up inside. If the guy has a penetrating pinch, we'll stay on the team, we'll let the looper go around, and we'll run it up inside. If he has a flat pinch at the angle of the end, then they would pass it if he was flat. The tackle would launch him, and then the guard would take him over, and the tackle would take the T coming around, and the ball would split the ET. All right? How does the center not get picked on a draw? All right? The center doesn't get picked on a draw because he sets slightly into the line of scrimmage. Because if he kicks and this guy pinches on a TT, you get balled up in there too much. So he works strong, all right, and works up for the backer. Okay, what does the front side guard do? What does he do on a draw play if the guy is a two-gap or inside shade guy? Let's say in that formation you're running a lot of draw plays, so they tell him that week, all right, great, you just line up on the guard and you two-gap him. All right, don't rush up the field, all right, in a mixed-down situation. All right, if he does that kind of thing, right, we use a technique which McNally invented, all right, called oversetting. All right, meaning if the guy's a two on me, I'm going to kick out and just hold my breath and don't worry about it. All right, because when I kick out, he'll think it's a slide and he'll see there's no center there and he'll try to beat you inside. So when you kick to overset and he jumps inside, don't panic. All right, when he goes inside, drop the post and just take him like that. All right, don't kick slide and all right, because then he'll get off your block that way. You got to hook the fish. He goes hooked. All right, then you take him on an overset. All right. Now, the backside reads are the same. On a T-E, it's the same read. Rip the sink off the wall. T goes out. Find the E. All right. E-T. All right. Shut it down. Double the pincher. Unless it's super flat, then pass it, the E-T. How do you stop the T-T on a draw? Well, that's why the center works slightly into the line of scrimmage, so he doesn't get picked on a TT, so that the front side guard has the option to overset. Get the center away from the guard. Get him the hell out of there, all right, so that the guard can go to work, and he can use whatever tool, as Mark McHale called it last night. He used any tool that's in his tool bag, all right? So right there, get away. He comes around. Great. The guard stays on the T. The center, well, if he keeps going, the center runs the T. All right, and the backside guard, now he works up to the backer. All right? But if he kind of hangs slow, then the center, he kind of seals him back onto the guard, and he works up to the backer. They just maintain spacing with each other, and they continue to work. All right? Okay. That's the twist. Okay, now, I don't care if you want me to go longer or not. I'm stopping. All right? I've gone too long. All right, and I'm stopping right now, and I wanted to thank Bob for letting me speak at the clinic, and I wanted to give my appreciation to all the coaches here that know more football than I do, and
thank them for everything that I've learned from it. And I wanted to acknowledge a guy who worked with me, Bob Serace, right over there. Stand up, Bob, right? Not to embarrass you, but talk to him. He's an excellent football coach. He went to Princeton. I call him Rain Man, right? He freaking forgets stuff. He remembers everything that I forgot. All right, and it's kind of like I'm getting Alzheimer's or something, because he's telling me all the time, oh, don't you remember? Christ, I can't remember all that shit. All right, but he's one of the smartest human beings that I know. He's an excellent football coach, and I'm very fortunate to have him work with me. And Stacy Andrews, step up one more time. All right, right there. Did you learn anything today, Stacy? Excellent. All right, he's going to be a terrific player now. He really is. All right, and so that's good. All right, and once again, thanks, Bob.
All right, hang in there now, guys.